So the One Ring has been found.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't heard. I was already checked out 2 years before Magic 30 came out as a product.
Yeah.
But what they did to violate, the trust and the goodwill within the Magic the Gathering community, if you even want to call it that, in last November, they just crossed the line. For the masses of Magic the Gathering enthusiasts to flood back and pay $400 to $500 for every collector's box, are you kidding me? Like, how stupid do you have to be, you bunch of two brain-celled, smooth-brained magpies? Hey guys, we've got a really spicy video lined up for you, but first, I wanted to let you know that we need your support.
Yeah, for right now, for $4.99 a month, you can support us on Patreon in our long game tier. And basically, we put out 2 videos every month where we talk about the financial aspects of TCG, something that we don't really talk about on the main channel.
Not on the main channel, no. You gotta pay to play, guys. And I know you guys are asking, hey, $5? I mean, where's that $5 going? That evil investor saint doesn't need my $5. He's gonna do evil investing with it. But no, none of it goes to me.
All the money currently goes to supporting myself and also FaBled Runaways to kind of help us kind of pave our way forward in the competitive scene. And we try to do our best to make sure that you get your money's worth. We put a lot more thought and preparation into the videos to make sure that you get your value's worth.
And not only that, I mean, I personally also support the FaBled Runaways like I did in the last Pro Tour. I personally went out of pocket to pay for a coach. I personally hired marketing members to help them with their logo, with their design, as well as, with marketing with FaBled Hunters. So none of this is going in my pocket, and historically I've not taken a cent from this, and all the giveaways, all the other stuff, that is being funded by me as well. I want to give extra reinforcement to the FaBled Runaways as well as Yuanji in his quest to build and manage and lead a team that hopefully will take down a championship, whether it's in North America or whether it's one of the majors worldwide. Let's go Worlds, FaBled Runaways.
Yeah, so without further ado, let's get to the video.
All right. Welcome to FaBled Hunters.
I'm Yuanji.
I'm Saint.
And today we're going to go over last month
today, just in time for a quick recap of the month in TCGs.
Yeah, and so it's been not a lot of stuff, but some really important stuff has been happening.
Just in these past couple of weeks. It hasn't even been a full month because our last update was like mid-June, but
yeah,
it's early July and so much crap has happened, right?
Yeah, so I guess like the first thing that I think let's just go over some of the other TCGs that are in the space. A little bit of news. Sorcery has announced that they are releasing in September, the beginning of September.
September 1st, I believe, right?
Yeah, so that's exciting, I think, for everybody who's like kind of backing it. Like there's a lot of games that don't actually hit that stage. They go Kickstarter and then there's like in development forever.
But I mean, Kickstarter and then $4 million and then a year and a half and then like 4 or 5 delays. I'm just saying, I do wish that they have a seamless and smooth rollout and they do better than their former competitor, Genesis.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like sometimes, you don't even get the product in the end.
Yeah.
Another piece of quick news is, or rather lack of real updates is Disney Lorcana looks like it's still pretty much like slated to release at the beginning of August. There's a lot of, I guess...
Yeah, we reported on it. The Upper Deck versus Ravensburger lawsuit. But, Ravensburger's attorneys, I believe they're saying that these are baseless claims and nothing's happening and we're going ahead. Keep spending your money, please. Please make this worth it so we can pay our legal fees. Please buy Lorcana on August 18th. And I'm not advocating for that. I'm just saying that's what they're saying. And it turns out, I think they're copying cold foils, right? There's some promo cold foil of...
Oh, I did see. They released kind of a sneak preview of what one of their... I don't know, I forgot what they're calling it, but basically they're using the cold foil technology I think it's
Rip off cold foils. That's what I'll call them.
We saw Ariel.
Ariel?
From The Little Mermaid.
Was she African American?
I believe it's like the original, cartoon rendition.
Oh, with all that ESG crap that Disney trying to do, I'm surprised they're not trying to, go African American Ariel or rewrite history like they did with Lord of the Rings and Aragorn.
Yeah, I cannot say like what their direction is, but I think we spoke on it last time, and I do hope that Lorcana does have a successful launch, because I do think that it can be a powerful force for invigorating new interest in TCGs.
Mm-hmm. I'm personally apathetic. I'm just happy that Disney's chief diversity officer or whatever finally resigned, because she's been really great at losing the company billions of dollars just in the film industry. And I also wouldn't shed a tear if Kathleen Kennedy just like finally went kaput, because she's been at, ruining Lucasfilm, ruining what is it, Indiana Jones, and obviously all of Star Wars and Willow for the past decade plus. So whether it's in a body bag or whether it's with a resignation letter, I really couldn't give half a shit. Kathleen Kennedy also needs to go. Just saying.
Those are some strong words.
Yeah.
Next up, wanted to go over some news in the grading world.
Oh, we're doing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So CGC has announced that they are kind of merging their... so I believe they originally had CGC Sports and CGC Trading Cards.
Yeah.
So they merged them, but I think what was more impactful in their news was the fact that they were adopting a new grading scheme.
It's interesting that you use the word scheme.
Yeah.
Because I personally believe that whole company has just been a Ponzi scheme since day one, since CGC was private and then got sold to Blackstone. Again, grading scheme. Funny you use that description, because it is indeed a grading scheme. CGC, when they came out with their initial trading card game labels, had a blue label, which a lot of people said was ugly. It didn't have an inner sleeve, although their think tank or their focus group prior to launch all advised that you need to go with the trend and go with an inner sleeve. But they chose to opt out of an inner sleeve. They chose to use subgrades. They've had issues with their grading algorithm on how you get to a 10, whereas like you could have like 9s and all 10s, or 1 9 and 3 10s and still have a 10.
Yeah.
And they even literally had problems like math exploits within their grading, within their database.
Yeah.
Not only that, I guess they're just like, you know what, screw it. Let's not even do subgrades anymore, which differentiated us. Let's actually go completely backwards. Let's go from an ugly label, which is the blue label that was recognized by the comic book CGC customers, adopted by the comic book people that gave them familiarity. Let's go with a completely random CGC sports grading label, or CSG, like certified sports grading, which is like just a nonchalant, non-iconic, non-recognizable label. Let's stop using half grade, so let's just go 1 through 10.
Yeah.
Let's stop using, let's still not use an inner sleeve, and let's stop using subgrades. And I mean, I've never been a fan of CGC to begin with. I don't know if it's readily apparent in, my current rant, but this makes me like them even less. But the saying goes, do not interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. As I think Sun Tzu said in The Art of War. And all I have to do is congratulate CGC and Matt Quinn. Literally, they are implementing a failed and unilaterally, nearly unanimously panned strategy that Beckett Grading released on April 1st, which is like an April Fool's joke.
Yeah.
CGC is literally like, oh, we're going to have 2 types of 10s and... there would be a gem mint 10 and a pristine 10, something like that. And you know what? Well, we, instead of having like actual standards, actual grading standards that are transparent to the public, let's just call the 10 a 10 and forget about all that, because there's a time where literally off-centered, like off-axis cards and edge damage, corner damage cards were getting graded as 10s. So what can I say? I have nothing to say except for good luck trying to gain market share by setting yourself 30 years backwards. And CGC was, taking meaningful market share in trading card game grading. But let's just use their new unproven sports grading strategy. Let's do that, and let's go compete with PSA and not differentiate. Live in PSA's shadow. Good luck, Matt Quinn. Good luck in your Florida facility, and good luck, CGC.
Yeah, I mean, I don't normally go on rants, but I have some thoughts on this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've worked for companies that kind of have this type of mentality where it's like, just do the bare minimum.
Yep.
And ride on the coattails of what is successful. And it just like reeks to me of, somebody in upper management who got put into place and who just like they have like these numbers that they're trying to hit at the end of every quarter, and they're like, whatever it takes. The thing that they wrote in their newsletter, they're like, oh, we found that consumers really like 10s. Well, that kind of takes away the whole point. Like, yeah, of course people like 10s.
Yeah.
Because they're hard to get.
They should be hard to get.
Yeah.
But when the CGC population is like 20% 10s, like we saw with Magic 30 crossover CGC, they're literally in the graded groups or in the Magic 30 groups. There were individuals that they submitted 60 cards and like 25 of them came back 10s. And like 10 of the 25 were black label. They're not even called black label. They're called perfect 10s or something like that. And that's just super crazy. And what you said just about not having any intentionality, not having any pride in their work, that is indicative of CGC. That's also indicative of Blackstone standards. Blackstone, which is the quintessential like worst of the worst of private equity, this is literally baked into their business model. Let's just buy something that used to work, right? Let's not innovate at all, and let's squeeze out every last penny from the consumers of that brand. They literally did this in gem grading. Late May of this year, they bought a company called IGI. I don't even know what it stands for, but it's up there. Blackstone buys IGI. Like the main grading company that everybody knows in the jewelry world is called GIA, Gemological Institute of America, GIA, which has like 70-80% market share. Blackstone bought IGI kind of like to coast off of the reputation of GIA because two of the letters are similar.
Yeah.
It's kind of like CGC versus PSA. Same type of thing. They're just buying it to basically just eke out whatever profit and exploit the dumb clients on a second tier product. It's like, basically Blackstone buying White Castle to compete with McDonald's. And this is exactly, you've got two instances right here. It's within their business model.
I honestly don't have any problem with there being, like a second tier, like a cheaper alternative.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that part of it is like you accept like what your kind of target is.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is just like a move where it's like, well, I'm not even really sure what their direction is. Like they say in the newsletter as if they're trying to like gain more market share.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not really doing like trying to differentiate themselves. They're not trying to make like a better product. They're not like, I don't really understand.
Well, not only that, didn't you say they're even taking steps back on their database, right?
Yes. So one of the updates that they had is they said it along the lines of something like, oh, don't worry about your cards that you've already graded through CGC.
Yeah.
We're going to update those grades. And to me, that just seems like if I had my cards graded with CGC, I would lose all consumer confidence in them. When I have a card and the physical copy, it says it's a 9.5, whatever, it has the subgrades, or even if it's not a 9.5, if it's an 8.5, it has these subgrades. That is a record of what happened. And your job as a grading company is to provide like authentication and to provide a record that like some third party came in, verified this is what the condition of the card is. If you can so easily just change the numbers, make a legacy database. Come on, man.
But they're not doing that. They're just merging the database, and these 9.5s are now 10s, and these 9.5s are now 9s and 8s and 7s, and that's it. And forget about subgrades, right?
Yeah, like hate them or love them, like BGS, whatever. At least like you go into their database. I know that if I like see like their number, whatever serial number, like whatever, maybe they don't update it as frequently, but there is a number there's a grade. If I find the physical card, it's going to have that grade.
There's a logical system since 1999. That's their secret sauce for 24 years that they've kept, and they've kept that database. And there are Magic cards, there are sports cards, there are other TCG cards that have always maintained that formula. And that's why, after nearly a quarter century, people trust BGS. And even prior to that, I think PSA, I looked it up, I think it was 1991. PSA is the older company and it's the larger company. And even PSA, like when Nat Turner, multi-billionaire hedge fund guy, bought Collector's Universe, took it private from a publicly traded company. He actually did some research, and at least he made the conscious decision to say, you know what? We've been doing this for 30 years. This is the right formula. This is the secret sauce of PSA. I personally don't like it, but millions of Pokemon collectors, millions of sports collectors prefer that ugly red label. And they actually, I'm just saying, it's an ugly red label, and they stuck with the ugly red label, and that was their logic. There was some thought process, some loyalty to the customer, some consideration for the people that were loyal to the brand, whereas CGC, there's zero loyalty. It's just, how do we make things easier, and how do we still pump out money from the idiots that support our brand?
Yeah, I mean, like, to me, this is the last thing I'll say about it. It's kind of like a no-brainer. Like, this is like a baseline of what you have to do as a grading company, where it's like, if you have like whatever thing in your database, the number that it was like graded at, the number in your database should reflect. If I get the card and I try to sell it on eBay, if I show it off on a picture or whatever, it's like those numbers should match. It's like you're opening a food company and you're selling like plastic. Like, that's essentially what they're selling. Like fake. They're selling fake shit.
Yeah, kind of. And hey, but Yuanji, you know what? You're not on their payroll, so you don't need to instill any common sense into them. Like I said earlier, maybe 5-10 minutes ago, you know, when your enemy is making a mistake, just carry on, CGC. Good job, guys.
Yeah. In other news, and you might know a little bit more about this. So I heard there's like rumblings that PCG US, they announced that they were suspending grading for a period of time while they're relocating.
Yes. And word is, I think it's on the website, that they're planning to relocate to Florida. I can't share all the news, but I have heard that the headquarters of PCG, the founders and the owners of Premier Card Grading, have purchased back the license from the executives at Channel Fireball Group / Card Shop Live. Now, I just wanted to take this moment to vindicate myself and be transparent with everybody. I have had my falling outs multiple times with Card Shop Live / Channel Fireball, personally and in business. I've even acted as a consultant and in good faith tried to advise them and be the canary in the coal mine when they were doing weird things like misgrading cards and proactively opening up boxes before release dates, you know, opening up flesh and blood boxes before release dates, and grading things like, for example, the Command and Conquer at Worlds. It's like, hey, just the day before, Chris Sayers and I were opening, you know, live the first public box in the world of Dynasty. What is the Command and Conquer cold foil FaBled doing in a PCG US slab? John Sasso, you bastard. How did it get there? I only agreed to do that commercial which, you know, featured on a FaBled Hunters episode, because I was told face to face in confidence that they had gotten permission from Legend Story Studios, which they didn't. But this is along the lines of the ethics that Card Shop Live and Channel Fireball Group had. So I'm happy to say that the license has been purchased back. They're looking, and they're in the discovery process of new potential partners and restructuring, because there were some shenanigans that happened under Card Shop Live's management, and the founders, Matt Rogers and Robert Miller, are looking to do better. They're looking to, I mean, just for example, there was a whole gap of time, almost 1 year's time, where the rest of the world, of PCG grading, including the headquarters, Malaysia and Australia, they were grading and putting in metal labels. And metal labels came with the cost of the product, right? Whereas in the US, it was like, why are you getting an inferior product? Because Card Shop Live management wanted to save money, because they were one of the first adopters and they had paper printers. They refused to implement metal labels unless you paid an upgrade fee of like $15 or something like. So let's just pretend grading's like $10 or $12.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you can get a metal label for $15 more, but otherwise you're getting this crappy, antiquated paper label. And they, knowingly went against the company policy, PCG headquarters policy, as well as the rest of the world. So the rest of the world was doing it one way. Card Shop Live, they didn't give a shit. They were doing it their way. Kind of like, right? This kind of harkens back. It's deja vu. Kind of like what they did to violate minimum advertised price set by Legend Story Studios the year before.
Yeah.
So I just have to say, I know I'm dwelling on this a little bit. I just have to say, congratulations to Matthew Rogers and Robert Miller for getting away from those goddamn criminals, because the Card Shop Live people are a bunch of dumb fucks, and they're also scumbags and scoundrels, and I'm glad that we're turning the page. I'm glad that hopefully after this, Flesh and Blood and Flesh and Blood grading as a whole will be detached from the schmucks over in Las Vegas at Card Shop Live.
Yeah. Last bit of non-Flesh and Blood news I will go over. So the One Ring has been found.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't heard.
That's been authenticated. I feel like everybody would want to hear you talk about it. Like, what are your thoughts on kind of this, like, Lord of the Rings product and the kind of circus that has been going around just trying to find this One Ring card?
Well, we're already living in a clown world, and I was already checked out 2 years before Magic 30 came out as a product.
Yeah.
But what they did to violate the good, the trust and the goodwill within the Magic the Gathering community, if you even want to call it that, in last November was just way, they just crossed the line. And then what they did at Hasbro to violate the good faith and the trust of the Dungeons and Dragons community, that was just January, February of this year. And
there's like a side story. We probably won't go too far into it because we're like a TCG focused channel, but they haven't shown a lot of loyalty or support towards the people that have helped them build up their product. Even
the employees.
They had a team that was set out to develop a Discord bot, and they don't renegotiate their contract after a year after they build out this product.
You sent me the link. I read it.
They just sent outsource it to another team that's most likely, not 100%, but most likely going to be a lot cheaper for the bottom line. And I don't know.
No, they didn't only do that to that Discord team. There was a bot, you said, right?
Yeah.
That software team. They did it to WotC South America, I think. They laid off hundreds of people in South America just at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
And they laid off another 1,000 people in Hasbro, I think, right? Just to cut their costs. Yeah, it was 1,000 people layoff in quarter one. It's like, buy 1,000 people. Here's 1/6 or 1/7 of all of our employees worldwide. Buy everybody. We need to make our numbers, to make our shareholders happy.
Yeah.
And that's literally the MO of Chris Cox and Cynthia Williams, and that's what they've done. Now, for all of that to happen, and within 60 days or 90 days for the masses of Magic the Gathering enthusiasts to flood back and pay $400 to $500 for every fucking collector's box? Are you fucking kidding me? How stupid do you have to be, you bunch of fucking two-brain-celled, smooth-brained magpies? Oh, look, here's a shiny something. Let me give you my entire paycheck. Fuck right off. Honestly, the right move would have been to rely and harken back on, I think it was a Rothschild that said it, you buy on the sound of cannons and you sell on the sound of trumpets. This was a saying from, I think, Nathan Rothschild from 1810. The sound of cannons was when Magic 30 was released, followed by the Dungeons and Dragons debacle, and the price of Hasbro was dropping under $48, which I said, after $48, this stock price, when it's at $55, needs to get punished. And after $48, it becomes so compelling that you literally don't have a choice but to buy it with a 6% dividend return. Not financial advice, guys, just what I said on the Rudy channel, right? Basement Confessions. And I backed it up. I backed it up with a multi-thousand share purchase of Hasbro in late February with a cost basis. I thought it was 46.3, but my cheapest entry price was 46.3. My highest entry price was low 47s. I dollar cost average at around 47, and the stock is sitting currently as of early July at I think $64, and I've already reaped in one dividend cycle, gonna lock in a second dividend cycle for an additional 3% return, or $1.40 on a $47 cost basis. So yeah, and again, not financial advice, but selling the sound of trumpets. It's sounding like Lord of the Rings has been the best selling set and the most hyped set ever, because these magpies are out there buying and buying and buying. And then not only that, it's like the ring gets pulled. The ring gets pulled. I just want to take a moment here. This is a totally Glenn Ross moment.
Yeah.
There's this movie that made Alec Baldwin, I think he's the eldest Baldwin brother in Hollywood, just worldwide famous. Movie called Glenn Ross. Alec Baldwin is like the senior sales executive from headquarters going into this real estate firm, and he's like, there's these 3 real estate brokers who are essentially salespeople. He's like, guys, we need to make our numbers. We need you guys to have brass balls. Okay, here's a sales competition. There's 3 prizes. First prize is a Cadillac, which in like 1982 is like a really hype car. It's like think of like, maybe not a Bugatti, but at least like a Maserati of 82. So it was super hype Cadillac. Second prize is steak knives. And third prize is you're fired. So basically in the Lord of the Rings collector world, that's basically first prize is the One Ring, which is pulled. So it's already pulled, and sure, the price went down to $350, then $320. I think there were a couple boxes on TCG Player, $315. But those silly goddamn magpies are out there buying up the boxes up to the 400 to 420 range.
Yeah.
And there's only the second prize, steak knives, which is essentially a bunch of soul rings. What? Elven, Dwarven, and human. Oh, look, it's these are soul rings that are limited 300. These are worth $5,000 to $10,000. Oh, these are Dwarven soul rings 700 and human soul rings 900. Oh, those are 4-figure cards. It's like, I mean, that is the definition of artificial and manufactured scarcity for the sake of artificial and manufactured. There's nothing original about that. And not only that, like, third place is you're fired, which is third place is a big Chuck Norris fist in your balls telling you to fuck yourself. And people are buying these boxes en masse. We're 29 times out of 30, something like that. I think the Soul Ring is only 1 out of 30 collector's boxes. Yeah. So you could go spend, first off, it's 30 collector boxes, which is $12,000. So of the $12,000 you spend, every $11,600 out of $12,000, you're getting punched in the dick and being told to go fuck yourself. And then that last box, oh, guess what? I've got this shiny soul ring that is so hype that is being listed in the Facebook groups for 4-figure asks and barely moving. If they're moving, maybe they're $1,000, $3,000, ooh, $5,000. What's your net loss there? It's probably close to 5 figures when all said and done, right?
I think everybody who kind of buys into like the hype for all this, I would just say, remember how much hate that you had for Magic 30 being $1,000, and just, put it into perspective.
Well, because I have already disclosed that I have a position here. Like, guys, 2.5 years ago, I was like, guys, there's got to be a better way. Yeah. There's a new game. I've changed sides. I'm now loyal to Flesh and Blood for life. That won't change, but I'm done telling the Magic loyalists that. They want to be salty and call me, a salty former Magic collector. Yeah. Oh, I'm collecting Hasbro shares now. So please continue buying this stupid crap that is literally getting reprinted to zero. What, there's a Cavern of Souls getting reprinted in these collector boosters? What, there's a Delighted Halfling that lets you pump out broken legendary creatures? Or there's Sauron or Gandalf or, Black Aragorn? Oh, wow, it's so brave, guys. Please, all you're doing is helping me to get a 37 to 45% return. Fingers crossed on their next earnings report, because that's what BlackRock's doing. And there are too many fucking idiotic brain dead lemmings out there that I just can't anymore. I can like show people to the water, but if they don't want to drink and, you know, they want to, you know, guzzle Chris Cox's special liquids, then that's great. Good on you. Chris Cox is now working for me. He's definitely not working for you guys. Yeah. All right? So enough about that. I just had to say my piece. And from now on, I'm going to try. I'm going to put in honest effort to do a little less Hasbro bashing, because it's in my best interest. You guys who still want to buy Magic product, contemporary Magic product, you do you guys.
Yeah, well, let's close out on talking about Flesh and Blood.
Yeah. On an additionally positive note, although I felt I was being quite positive about Hasbro compared to before. Yeah, I was being positive. Keep up the positivity. Keep buying your collector boxes. Commander Masters, $500? No problem. Q3, I'm counting on you guys.
So Flesh and Blood, I guess like the biggest news is that Dust to Dawn is coming out. Basically, this weekend is going to be the pre-release as of the recording of this video.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, pretty exciting news. There's been, I guess, like mixed feedback regarding the set. We'll talk about it in more detail, our opinions in the long game.
On the long game? We'll get into it, but I have only called 2 products. I've had buy calls on 2 products, which both, I believe, have returned very healthily for individuals. One of them was the 4 and black bordered. Yeah. When they were $70 to $90 a box, I was like, you know what? It's time to go in on these. These are really great products. And then afterwards, lo and behold, the print runs are 45,000 boxes worldwide. They're still available, but now I believe they've doubled in price, right? And then the other one was the Dorinthia versus Rhinar. That was, you know, that's a great product.
I did not expect to do that well, but you know,
it's done well. Yep. And Glistening Steelblade is still doing well. You could still buy it if you can still find it for sub $40, sub $30, and you'll do just fine. I think there's also a Blue Pitch 6 Rhinar card as well in there that's still worth a handful of dollars. You've got the video. It's in the past. So those are my 2 prior calls. I have never proactively called a buy on any main Flesh and Blood set, but I am going to make an exception for this one. This one is different. This set is different. Not going to get into it. That's going to be on the long game, but this set is different. It's already, as of July 4th, it's already out of print. You've already seen, presumably, our spoiler card and the other spoiler cards out there. It's all the Prism hype in the world, and this set has delivered, and that's all I can say about the set for now. What are your thoughts about it, Yuanji?
You know, I just want to do my impression and do like a little mini rant. So there's a lot of people who have a lot of negativity that I've seen. Or sorry, I don't want to say a lot of negativity, but some people have, you know, expressed negativity online. And usually I just like stay out of it. I don't really feel the need to, you know, respond to it in public. But I think that like the biggest troll to me is all these people who are saying, oh, they're really disappointed in this set because it doesn't like meet what their expectations of a supplemental set, as if like LSS somehow like deceived them into pre-ordering boxes of this set. Like, oh, it doesn't give support to the heroes that I want to play, or this or that. And I just want to say to those people, it's like, don't pre-order. Like, don't buy the thing and then have buyer's remorse. Like, you can wait until the spoilers come out. You can order it, whatever. I just really dislike when people like make bad decisions for themselves and then try to like deflect blame as if it's like somehow LSS's fault. Yeah. Like James White said that the set was going to be focused on light and shadow. I personally think that the set is like really interesting and they're changing the mold. I don't really feel that it's fair or even wise to expect the company to just like keep doing the same thing that it's doing like every single year. And I don't know, that's just like my thought about it. I'm personally really excited to explore all of the heroes. I think this is like the first set in my mind recently that's made a lot of people in the Flesh and Blood like competitive community kind of excited to try every single hero.
Yeah. This is a game changer. I'm in the your pro team FaBled Runaways Discord, and it's just popping off, and everybody's just so excited, drafting Monarch, getting ready, talking about how these cards will get applied. I think some people even printed out sample cards just to shuffle it up in a deck, just to see what's going on.
Shout out to Fabry Philip, who's from New York City, who's made like an eco-friendly proxy generator. So
really?
Like it's you know how like the test print cards where it's just like the name and the text or whatever. You know, it's just trying to save some ink. I think that this set, more so than any other supplemental set, and people want to, I looked this up because I was so interested. If you look at Dynasty, Assassin gets released, so obviously there's Assassin support, but as far as like other classes that people actually play, there's Assassin, Warrior, like cards that people actively play. There's Assassin, Warrior, Mechanologist, Ranger, and one more, and Brute. Like these are the only classes that got cards that like they actually want to play.
Anything meaningful, right?
In my opinion.
Yep.
And 3 of those classes are not, or 4, like basically like 3.5 of those classes are not competitively viable. And I'm not saying that all the classes in Dust to Dawn are going to be competitively viable, all the heroes are going to be competitively viable. I don't think that's like a fair bar to set. But when you say that, like the old supplemental set model, like it's supporting all the classes. I mean, like kind of like they're printing cards for you, but that doesn't mean like those cards are designed to have like immediate impact, right? Like you can take all the cards, I think, and they are designed like there's enough support because there's fewer classes supported. They go for more depth because there's enough cards printed. You can go ahead and like build a deck that's focused around like the new cards.
I would, well, I think what you're trying to say and what I'm agreeing with is that Dynasty tried too hard to impact too many classes and ended up doing almost nothing, right? It was like cooking with way too many ingredients, and in the end, what it was like, Pulse Wave Harpoon for Dash, and you said the Nitro Mechanoid wasn't even meta impactful, right?
Ranger cards from Dynasty ended up getting played because of all the cards that got printed in Outsiders. But that's what I mean. Like when I said this when Dynasty first came out and we gave our like thoughts on it. Like I was like, well, I would have liked when they can't come out with a set that the set is impactful when it comes out. I don't want like them to come out with cards and then I have to wait until the next set for like some of the cards to be impactful, or any of the cards to be impactful.
And that's on the player side, and not just that, on the collector side. My biggest gripe with Dynasty was that they printed like multiple tiers, right? They had the Marvel weapon, they had the cold foil weapon, they had the rainbow foil weapon, or the non-foil weapon. There's like 3 or 4 printings of the same chase card, which made the cold foil redundant and actually worth nearly nothing, right? Or the Emperor, it happened with the Emperor, it happened with the Nitro Mechanoid as well, right? And that just pissed off a lot of collectors. So Dynasty sold well because a lot of players, I guess, wanted that new supplemental set, but it just didn't leave a happy, feeling. It didn't leave a positive taste in people's mouths, I think. And Dusk Till Dawn, there is no 3 printing, 4 printing type of thing. A cold foil is a cold foil is a cold foil again, and that should presumably be the best iteration, the best printing of the set. And we also learned what the FaBled is, right? The FaBled is a light of soul.
There's a light resource.
A lot of people are complaining about FaBled like so, and I'm like, whoa, it's a light resource, it's yellow pitch, it helps light, and it lets you charge a card, essentially, right?
If top yellow.
Top card is yellow, then you get to charge a card, that's like a free charge without losing card advantage or tempo, right?
And like we don't know if the FaBled is going to be good, and I don't think it even matters that much if the FaBled is like good or not. But I think it's cool that the FaBled does something unique. And it fits with like the theme of all the gems they printed, where they're like they all can do something that's like a little bit better than what any other resource card can do.
And it's not only that. See, you contrast this set with Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, the only thing that was good was the halfling and that one black card that pinged.
Orcish Bowmaster.
Bowmaster, right? And then the One Ring, obviously. The one of one ring. But here, we're just hype about the set. All the true TCG enthusiasts in the Flesh and Blood ecosystem, that are singing the praise of the set. I don't even think the, like less than 1% of the discussion in our Discord and in the public channels are even about the sketch cards, because the set, the spoilers are so hyped.
I've seen like almost nobody talking about these sketch cards.
Yeah.
Which is kind of surprising, because I thought that the serialized cards would kind of dominate the conversation.
But the set is so good, and we're all so looking forward to it, that I just have to say again, we'll get into this deeper on the long game, but this set is different, and you'll get your first taste this coming weekend. Please go and support your local game stores. Please support the big shops or the little shops like Star City Games. Support Rudy, support your LGS, because the week after, next week, I think July 14th is when this set officially releases.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'm gonna be hyped to play Dust Till Dawn at the pre-release and then at the release events. Yep. But one last little bit of Flesh and Blood news. This kind of like threw people a little bit of a curveball. Yeah, a lot of people were anticipating, since the professor at Tulare Community College announced that he was working in close conjunction with Legend Story Studios on a product, and we weren't really sure what it was going to be.
Yeah.
But I believe this came out in a distro magazine.
Yep.
It's been announced.
ICV2, I believe.
Yeah, there's going to be a set of 4 Blitz decks featuring the professor, a bard named Melody. I think there's going to be a guardian.
Yeah, I forgot his name too.
And then I forget like what the last hero is.
They didn't mention the fourth one.
So there's four heroes. Blitz deck. I believe it might be like a contained like product experience.
Sounds like it. Sounds
sure.
like a UPF friendly product, but the point is we don't know. It was all just mentioned in the article in one paragraph, and again, people are just starting to get salty, like, oh, this better not be tournament legal. Oh, it better not be.
Oh, man.
It's like, come on, you entitled jackoffs. We don't need that type of saltiness and entitlement in the Flesh and Blood community. Like, please, fuck right off. Just enjoy what Legend Story Studios is doing for us. And this is a product by the professor. If there's anybody who's an supposed anti-capitalist and cards must be cheap, it is the Tularian professor. All right? So just use common sense, guys. This is going to be a great product. I'm actually looking for the 1,000 count box, because I just love having stuff that holds a bunch of cards.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I couldn't have been happier when I forgot what it was I bought, but I bought something that came with that Uprising, the tubes. They're right behind me. These are the Uprising
like
Dragon.
TCG player bundle.
Yeah, maybe it's a TCG player bundle.
Yeah.
And I still have my TCG player bundles off in the corner. I haven't even I gave you one, right? You've got one of the 5. I've got the other 4 just sitting right there, and I'm still putting stuff in them because they're so awesome and they're designed well. Now, if Legend Story Studios is actually charging money for this, it's going to be even better, because that's historically how they've performed on all these products.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that it's going to be really cool, especially I know that Professor did like an intro to Flesh and Blood video that did really well. So I think if it has that type of feel, where I've been saying this to you, I think privately, where I think Flesh and Blood really needs like a great like gateway product, like intro product for people to play. You know, like the Blitz decks that they sell, to me, like aren't quite it.
Yeah.
At least like in their current iterations, I've heard good things about the History Pack 1 decks.
Yeah.
They're like a little bit designed a little bit better, a little bit less basic. So, you know, I'm looking forward to whatever it is, and then assessing, you know, after the information.
Yeah, let's wait and have some faith in the publisher. Like, who are these people? Who are these self-important jackoffs that are just complaining already after seeing an ICV spoiler article in the middle of July or early July, when this product's coming out in September? And when it comes out in September, I just want to note that it will be available for you for purchase at the low MSRP of $69, literally $69.
You know, I just want to say congratulations to the professor for getting his likeness on a card. I know you, me, everybody who's like really into like geek fandom, whatever, they've seen like the Magic, whatever, world champion cards. You know, it's so cool to to have a publisher recognize you and put your likeness onto a card. So
Absolutely.
Congratulations to him. And
Yeah, I think that's it for now.
yeah, that's all
Right.
we have. Hope you guys enjoyed our takes, and we'll see you next month.
On Last Month Today. Bye.
So, Saint, what are you gonna do now that you're a evil investor? Are you gonna make some Lord of the Rings commercials?
Lord of the Rings commercials. I mean, you know what? I'm just content on letting everybody just be dumb fucks because, look, you can buy, ooh, this collector's booster for $420. Or you could buy seven shares of Hasbro stock. But they're too stupid. They want to be the Magpies and just chase after that shiny. Oh, the shiny. I'm going to go after steak knives and, get fucked 97% of the time. Get fucked, Magic collectors. Peace.